good friend. He's a good guy. He and I worked together 100 years ago at WFLA in Tampa. And he was, doing newscasts when I was doing shows at WFLA. And I've known him for a long time. He's a good man.
Well, it looks like, are we streaming on your thing yet? Yep, there we go. Look at that.
Look at that.
We're up. We're up. We're runny. Make sure that... Man, this trackpad is going to piss me off today because it is not doing what it's supposed to do.
I can't help but remember other times when you have complained about this. And at what point do you stop complaining about something and do something about it?
If this is one of your lame attempts to try to defend the use of personal computers,
no, this is
artsy.
This is my attempt of asking you, why don't you do something to make it work properly instead of just complaining about it? But it's amazing that this is an Apple product. Huh. Weird.
I don't know how many more years I have a contract to do this effing show every Saturday morning, but when it's done, I am out. If people only knew what it was like behind the scenes dealing with your shit. Oh, sure. Jeffy, he's fun. Yeah, he's fun.
Well, you want to air dirty laundry? Let's air dirty laundry, shall we?
You want to you want to bring that up? All right. How's this? Remember that time in Vegas? Remember the midget? Remember the midget hooker? Remember her? Huh?
Yeah. Oh, you know what I did? You know what I did last night, and I did it just for you. I watched
hooker?
that. Stupid,
okay.
No, that was Friday. I mean, that was a Thursday. No, last night.
Drink it out of cups. Drink it out of cups.
I watched that. That was just stupid.
It's amazing. You don't start dissing drinking out of cups.
That's just stupid.
Why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? I hate this feeling.
Well, you have it every Saturday, so perhaps maybe there's something else you should address. If we're going to address dirty laundry, let's address it.
Oh, hang on a second. Let me just double check here. All right, that's all. That's working.
We've already shown that it's working on my X account. Everything else doesn't matter.
Okay, but why does it feel like?
Wow, it's time already.
From the heart of cattle flatulence country and home of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, it's Saturday Morning Live with Jeff Fisher from Chewing the Fat and Brad Staggs from the Daily Mojo. Today's episode, Time Out of Mind. These two guys have spent more time out of mind than in. Brad Staggs and Jeff Fisher.
Hello. Welcome to Saturday Morning Live. I would like to begin today. I want you to imagine a gender equal world. A world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination. A world that's diverse, equitable, and inclusive. A world where difference is valued and celebrated. Together, we can forge gender equality. And I'd like to wish you a happy International Women's Day.
Wait, is it? Is it International Women's Day?
It is
already?
International Women's Day. And man, am I celebrating, because just imagine a world where everyone is equal.
I love women.
Imagine that world. It's called a place, I don't know, the United States of America. But, whatever.
I think everyone should have. I want to just make sure to hear that we don't have something weird going on. I don't think we do. I think we're all good. I think we're okay.
Okay. All right.
I mean, even if we're not okay, it doesn't really matter, does it?
Not really.
Yeah. All right. So
it's Saturday Morning Live.
Right. It's just this is.
Oh well.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. See, here's the thing: is because today's show is called "Time Out of Mind," which is based Well, let's see. Can we get in trouble for copyright infringement if I say it's based on the Steely? So it's not based on the Steely Dan song "Time Out of Mind." You may get that confused, but it is not. And "Time Out of Mind" is based on a hallucinogenic drug that they we do here at the Saturday Morning Live do not endorse any sort of drug use whatsoever.
So Steely took some of this, is what you're telling me?
Yes, I don't know if Steely or Dan took it, but one of them took it, and it was. And actually, I think "Time Out of Mind" refers to heroin because they talk about chasing the dragon.
They love that. Yeah, they love that stuff.
So, that's why we've got the hallucinogenic thing going this morning, and we're trippy things to talk about, and
trippy things to talk about. Well, it's International Women's Day, so. My gosh.
And that's trippy right there.
How can it not be a special day?
In and of itself.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel like, because you sent this, and I feel like we should get this out of the way.
What is that?
This one.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. I'm happy to talk about this. So, Brad Keith Sigman, 67, pronounced dead at 6:08 p.m. last night in Columbia, South Carolina. He faced a firing squad, and he said that in his closing statement to be one of love and calling to my fellow Christians to help us end the death penalty. And he said in a final statement that read by his attorney, that he quoted scripture underscoring how the Old Testament eye for an eye justification of the death penalty is overtaken by Jesus' New Testament guidance of grace and mercy.
So
they strapped him to the chair. They trapped him to the chair. Yes, that is Brad Stigman.
Wait a minute. He was sitting down?
Oh, yeah. They wheel you in, and they strap you in. They put a hood over his head. And one of my favorite parts of this, of the firing squad, and we can get into the whole thing, why he chose the firing squad.
Right.
Because you can, South Carolina has the electric chair, and they have lethal injection, and they have firing squads. And you can choose whichever one you want. And he did not want what he called the torturous death of lethal injection, and he didn't want to be cooked alive by electricity, so he chose the firing squad. And it was, the first person to be killed by a firing squad in 15 years. And we can, break down the history of firing squads and all that. I may do that on Chewing the Fat, actually. But one of my favorite parts of this, and he was hoping, the South Carolina Supreme Court said, no, you're still doing death penalty, and he was hoping for it's a stay. They don't call it a stay from the governor. They commute. They was hoping for a commute from the governor before they, went to the firing squad. Nope, right. Not happening. That didn't happen. And I'm fascinated by, some states let you have a last meal.
Right.
Other states do not. Texas does not do that anymore. You don't get a last meal. We're going to kill you. No, you're going to eat what we give you, and then we're going to kill you. South Carolina.
That doesn't seem right.
South Carolina lets you choose your last meal, and he ordered 3 buckets of original recipe Kentucky Fried Chicken so he could share with the guys that he was incarcerated with on death row.
Oh.
I know. And they all said what a nice guy he was.
He sounds like a very nice man.
Yeah, how he was repentive, and everything was wonderful. Let's not forget. All right, before we get to the firing squad,
beat 2 people to death with a baseball bat?
That's correct, with the baseball bat. And he was going to kill. Originally, he said that it was over his girlfriend, the parents of his girlfriend. He beat to death with the baseball bats, and then he kidnapped her and was going to kill her and then himself. This is what he said in his when he was arrested. But she escaped from his car when he was taking off with her, and then he was arrested after that. Because he said in his testimony to the police that I was at the stage where if no one could have her, if I couldn't have her, no one could have her, and she didn't want me, so I was going to end it all, the whole thing.
Was he a radio groupie? Because you see that a lot in radio.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
So this guy, this is 25 years ago that he did this, or 24.
Yeah, we go through a huge world of court cases, and we just keep adding on to make sure that these men are guilty. I know that's a lot of people don't agree with the death penalty, because what if one person was wrongly executed? Then we shouldn't execute anyone. But let's not forget what these men did.
I get that. I understand, and
there are women serial killers, and it's International Women's Day, so I don't want to leave them out. I want them to be equal.
Right. That's very equal.
There's more men serial killers, but there are women serial killers. So
okay. So I've always been pro death penalty, except when this is going to sound like a contradiction, except when I started really distrusting the government. And it's like, if I don't trust them, how can I trust them to make the right decision?
Here we go.
But that's just it. I don't trust the justice. It's not a justice system. It's a legal industry.
I know that.
And that's the problem with it. I get this guy's evil. And in his case, I'm like, yeah. Now it sounds a little weird.
Whole list a couple of years ago on Chewing the Fat. I went down a whole list of what these guys on death row and were killed did to be executed, and it's just it's not. I mean, this guy is a lightweight compared to some of the people that we've executed for what they were convicted of.
There's some real darlings on death row.
Yeah, very much so.
Now. This is just a weird description. He was blindfolded and strapped to a chair with a target on his chest.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. When you think of a firing squad, you think, okay, so they're going to bring out maybe like 5 guys.
That right there.
One person has a live round or 2 people, and the other people have blanks, so that they can all have some sort of deniability, right?
Right.
Nope, not in South Carolina, my friend. There was 3 people on the firing squad, volunteered for the job, by the way. And all 3 had live ammunition. And they brought him in, put the hood over his head, and they put a target on his chest. They're 15 feet away, Brad. 15 feet away with rifles. Are you telling me they needed a target? Stop it. It's center mass. We're shooting this guy.
Well, you don't want to,
Stop it.
Is there a picture of him? I mean, did they film this thing?
I don't know the answer. I don't think so. I read an article, fascinating article from this guy in South Carolina, works for the AP. I reached out to him. I hope he'll talk to me, Jeffrey Collins. He has witnessed a bunch of executions, and he wrote a great article on viewing this execution. I don't think they filmed it. Jeffrey may not talk to me. He'll say, Jeff Fisher of the Blaze, I'm not talking to you. But I hope he does, because I would love to talk to him and get his
well, they should record it.
Expert.
They should record it in some way. Just
maybe they do. I'll tell you, it'll get a lot of hits when it leaks to YouTube.
Yes, it will. Let's see. Hang on. Over in the Rumble.
If the prisons themselves, this industrial prison complex that we say we are spending too much money on, they want to make some money, just start releasing the executions on video, make some money.
Once I start trusting the legal industry again, which may or may not happen in my lifetime, I will be far more behind the whole situation. Over in the Rumble chat room, Cougar Jackhole Diva is over there. No one chats in the Mojo room anymore. Yes, they do.
Wow.
Do we have to start out that way? Really, Diva? I mean...
Well, you don't necessarily have to read it. I mean, you could just let it go.
And Space Hippie on vacay is there. Doc's Clock Tower, Illinois State had 12 death penalties before in the 90s that were found innocent later. And now Illinois no longer has the death penalty.
Yeah. See, I know. I understand.
I never thought I'd get to a place where I'm like, death penalty? I don't know. Because I do agree. People like to kill him. But
and people, as far as I can say, there are some people that deserve town square.
And charge admission.
I'm kind of okay with. I don't even care if we charge. Just put them in town square and let's just stone them. And when they look like they're almost dead, we'll give them a blood transfusion so they stay alive for a little while longer, so we can stone them some more.
Cauterize the wounds so they don't bleed out. Right.
That's just me.
I think that's perfectly humane of you. I don't see a problem with that at all, whatsoever.
What noise am I hearing? What am I?
That's our trance music.
Some kind of weird noise in my ear. That wasn't it though.
That's our trance music. Because
some kind of crackling noise in my ear. I don't. What is it from you or me?
I don't hear it. Did you take that pill I sent you?
I thought it was. I thought it was some vitamin C. Is that not what it was?
Well, it's enhanced vitamin C. We like to say.
Okay.
You start to hear a crackling noise in your head, and then pretty soon the giant rabbits will start jumping in front. When that happens, let me know. Yeah. Oh, and the 3D thing? Yes. Yeah, you're gonna feel like you can reach out and touch anything.
That could happen at any time.
But and just don't freak out.
Must have been you.
Don't. I don't think it was. I mean.
Yeah, I think it was.
We're just trancing out over here.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, maybe it was just I was hearing something.
We're just trancing.
Anyway, so rest in peace to Brad. What was his full name? Brad Keith Sigman, dead at the age of 67. I just found it fascinating that we had to put a target on his chest. 15 feet away, and I love the fact, and I say I love, it's interesting to me that we have the 3 volunteers who are shooting their rifles at this guy, and there's no deniability. They're all live rounds, and they just fire.
Well, Doc's Clock Tower says the executioner is really just a serial killer that has a career. Yeah.
Wow.
There was
back in the hangman days, maybe.
Yeah, they used to travel around. I mean, talk about being able to hide in plain sight. Damn.
You got to do it right. You got to get the knots just right. You got to get the rope just right. It was a good gig.
It was. All I can think of when I think of the hanging, though, is Blazing Saddles. And the guy's got the horse up there. Oh, we're packed today. I couldn't possibly fit you in before lunchtime. Y'all are funny. Are y'all married? What in the hell is... I'm looking at the Daily Mojo chat room where we do have some people listening over there to Saturday Morning Live, and they're pretty sure.
Thank you. Welcome along.
They're hammered.
Anybody come? I'll check my X.
Over on, can they comment on X? I mean, I've not been able to see that.
Just comment below. Just comment below the feed.
How does that work exactly?
You would reply to the post that has the feed airing. It's not a difficult task at all.
It seems like it might be a little bit beyond my pay grade. Hang on a second. Let's go over to yours. Let's go over to yours and we'll see. Yeah, I don't know that there's. Isn't there a live chat that happens with? Oh, that's what you have to do. You have to click on the actual video. You have to hover your mouse pointer over it and then push click. Now that'd be a left click or a right click. And then when you do that, it makes it bigger. It makes it a little bit bigger, and right there there will be the chat, but it doesn't appear that too many people are chatting.
That's what I said.
There in the, so I don't know what the hell's wrong with those people, but whatever.
They're busy just watching. They just want entertainment.
Are they voyeurs?
They don't want to participate. Yeah, they don't want to participate. They just want entertainment.
All right. Did you say you don't believe this, or you do believe it?
No, this is just. I know I didn't say anything. I just said
before the show.
It's stupid.
Let's just get high. And
Listen to Pink
wait.
Floyd.
No, this is called the Dark Side of the Rainbow, where they would take Pink Floyd and you'd start Wizard of Oz, and when the MGM Lion roars, that's when you start the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, and then it also is supposed to line up with. And I've never watched the whole thing that way, but Gilmore was just on Jimmy Fallon a few months ago, and then Rogan talked about it too, which I hadn't heard anybody talk about this forever, and I've never sat through the whole thing to see if it does. It seems like it'd be kind of a fun party night, wouldn't it?
Not really. That's the whole thing. You're just sitting there getting high, and so
why do you have to bring drugs into everything? Why do we have to bring drugs?
I guess it doesn't really matter. It was really cool, though. We listened to Pink Floyd and watched the Wizard of Oz. It was really cool. It synced up too, didn't it, bro? Okay.
Well, it kind of did. I mean,
it kind of did. That's what
it kind of did.
If you put Dark Side of the Moon on for a number of things, I bet it syncs up. You know why? Because you were just past the bong and it syncs up.
Do you remember the little? I think they were speakers back in the 70s, but they had lights in them, and the lights would beep. Yes.
I don't remember those, but I remember my grandfather telling me about those.
No, not the 1870s, the 1970s. I remember those, and you could get them at Radio Shack. And you'd sit there. See, my childhood was.
You remember when you could get speakers that I had? I'm sorry, my grandfather had these. I had a Zenith Allegro quadraphonic system.
Quad, yes.
And I had the 4 speakers.
Yep.
And no matter where you set the speakers, whether sideways or upside down or downside right, in the little corner was the Zenith Allegro name. It said Zenith Allegro on it. You could you'd pull a spring out and it would turn so that they would always be right side up. I remember that to this day. That was so cool.
That's called being anal retentive.
That's absolutely what it's called. But that Zenith Allegro system, I mean, I had the AM/FM radio, had the turntable, and had the 8-track tape machine.
But did what was it called? It was just quad, right? Quad stereo?
Yeah, just quad. Yeah, quad.
Did it really work? I mean, what was the amazing thing? What's the difference between that and surround?
Well, see, if you had quad in your car, you could listen to one radio station up front and listen to another radio station at the back. That's what that was.
No, you couldn't. That was AM. That was AM stereo.
No, I'm sure that's the way it worked. Positive.
AM stereo was going to save it.
Push the quad button. If you push the quad button, you could actually have 4 different radio stations on in your car at the same time.
Yeah,
that's how cool
you could. That's how cool the 70s were.
Exactly.
I totally agree.
I was never. I mean, you just used to get into friends' cars that just had the regular, everyday 8-track player in it, and all you could listen to was either what was on the radio or what was on the 8-track. I didn't want to ride with them anymore.
Or in the middle of the 8-track song, whatever it was, more than a feeling, more. It would fade out. It would go. And I go inside away.
Awesome.
That's exactly what it sounded like too. Hey,
good stuff right there.
Dark Magneto sent us another $5. So.
And when you say us,
I have a mouse in my pocket.
Okay. All right.
He says, bring back public hangings and the guillotine.
Yeah, I mean, the public hanging thing and the town square, I mean, we're supposed to be above that and past that.
Are we?
So, yeah.
Human beings will never. We will learn to comb our hair better and wear nicer clothes, but we will never be past the slowing down to see a horrific car wreck on the other side of the freeway.
I know. Listen, I was a big proponent, even before Hunger Games and Running Man. 100 years ago, I was talking about really what we should do is, fence off an area and, film it so that we all watch it. and put the prisoners out there, and if they can make it out alive, they get to walk away.
I'm not saying I'm opposed to that. I'm just saying that
I mean,
that's dangerously. I mean, who gets to run the thing is what my question.
Me.
I guess.
me.
Yeah.
I'll run it.
That's the problem with all of this is I want to know who's in charge, because that's going to make a big
I'm producing
difference.
the whole thing. You can just reach out to me, email chewingthefat@theblaze.com. You can message me on X at JeffyJFR. You can message me. You can message me out. You can order a Cameo if you want to, but just reach out to me and I'll produce it for you, no problem.
Wait a minute. Hold on. When you did that, there was a way. Hold on a second here, because I had something all.
Boy.
I did. There was something all nice and ready, and I don't know where the hell that thing went. There was a whole, hey, contact me here. Oh, wait, there it is, right there.
I'm glad you had it ready and up and ready to go.
Here we go.
This is
Look
why
at that.
I will say this.
There,
I will
see?
say this.
Here's your
This
email.
is why I need to produce it. That's all I'm saying.
I'll give you. You want the keys? I'll give you the keys. Jeff Fisher Radio on Facebook and Instagram, and
I don't want the key.
you can buy a
That's
Cameo,
awful nice, though.
but it's
You can
not
buy a
free.
Cameo, it's not free.
It's not
That's
free.
what it is.
Just so
It's
you
not
know,
free. But it's worth every doggone penny.
It is.
Every doggone penny.
Leprechaun says
Until they get rid of pennies, and then it's going to be worth a nickel.
Pink Floyd would walk around the room and quad one speaker to the next.
That's right. That's right. That was with that special picture disc, Dark Side of the Moon, that we used to, you could purchase.
Picture discs. I remember picture discs. Remember video? I mean, they were the size of albums, right? Those are the ones you're talking about?
Yes, dear.
I can't. Okay. I've heard about those. I've read about those in encyclopedias before. I just didn't know you were around when they did it. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
The collector's editions.
This, because again, you're talking about dead people.
Here we go.
Well, I did. This is important. This is important. This is, when we're talking about dead people, two of the most famous dead people in the world.
What's this between Lincoln and Kennedy?
Lincoln and Kennedy. When was the last time you heard about any of this stuff? It's been a long
Not
time.
very long ago. This has been around forever.
It had, but there are new generations coming up through the ranks every day, and if we don't pass along the valuable information of our generation to theirs, where are we going to be as a society in 6 months? Please.
Boy, you're right, Brad.
President Lincoln and President Kennedy, the coincidences in these two presidents who were both killed as presidents.
Yes, they were.
They were both elected to the presidency in 60. Now, obviously, one in 1860, the other in 1960.
One was 19. Yeah.
Thank you. Both presidents were elected to the
I
United
don't
States
need the list.
House of
Go ahead. Just read
House
the
of
list.
Representatives in 46. That'd be 1846 and 1946.
1946, right.
Both were runners-up for the party's nomination for vice president in 56.
Dun, dun, dun.
That would be 1856 and 1956. Both
And
successors.
Let's roll on.
Both successors were Southern Democrats named Johnson, born in 08. That would
You're
be.
not going to bring up the music every time we
But-
we don't
Oh,
you have the music?
No, I can do that. Yes, I can. Both presidents were concerned with a problem of American blacks and made their views strongly known in 63. Really doesn't work if I do it that way. Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, which became law in 1863. And in 1963, Kennedy presented his reports to Congress on civil rights.
Oh,
Right.
music.
There's-
Thank you.
right? See?
Thank you. That's the world we live
See?
in. That's perfect.
The world.
But it's just a simulation.
See?
Oh no, it's just a simulation. All
Tell
right,
me-
go on.
Tell me
Come with
you're
your
not
list.
thinking that we are in a simulation. Both presidents were shot in the head. Both. But it doesn't say whether either of them had a target on it like the dude in South Carolina.
No.
Both presidents were shot from behind. Or were they?
Or were they? Yeah.
Both presidents were shot in the presence of their wives. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both presidents were accompanied by another couple. The male companion of the other couple was also wounded by the assassin. Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln made by Ford.
Yes, in a Ford. Da, da, da.
Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy who told him not to go to the theater. Kennedy had a secretary named Evelyn Lincoln who was born 100 years after Lincoln and whose husband Harold's nickname was Abe, who warned him not to go to Dallas.
Music.
Both Oswald and Booth were killed before they could be put on trial.
Right.
Lincoln and Kennedy each have 7 letters. Let's see.
Both are spelled from the alphabet. We got it.
Oh shit, that's another. We're gonna write that down. They both contain
I know.
letters from the
That needs to
alphabet.
go on the list.
Lincoln and Kennedy both have 5 syllables in their full name,
All right.
which counts Kennedy's middle initial. John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald each have 15 letters and 3 words. Why are killers always...
Okay.
Except for Ted Bundy. He didn't have... there are 6 letters in each Johnson's first name. Booth ran from a theater to a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse to a theater.
Right. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Okay. I'll tell you what. That is a coincidence, man. I know.
What are we doing here, man?
That's something.
What
I mean,
is that?
I can't do the Kennedy Lincoln thing without my Kennedy joke. I mean, you got the assassination joke of Kennedy. I can't.
All right, do it.
It's a must.
Just
it's a
do it.
must joke.
Just do it.
You know, when Kennedy was, prior to him being assassinated in Dallas, he had breakfast in Fort Worth, and then went to Dallas and got assassinated. And for years, Fort Worth was like, he was fine when he left here. That's why Dallas and Fort Worth don't like each other. That's why they don't like each other. That is why, the DFW thing. That's why Fort Worth gets pissed.
Dark Magneto said, I've seen this before. It's amusing. I'm telling you. Grassy Knoll. What does this prove? Cougar Jackhole Diva says. This proves
nothing.
that I think this is more proof that we're living in the simulation. I do. I mean, when you stop and think about it, and we're getting into all of the quantum mechanics and the quantum physics of everything.
Yes.
And this is going to be a brilliant. It wasn't a brilliant segue into what I thought it was going to be, but it's going to be
I'm waiting for it. I'll
it's
tell you
a
that.
brilliant segue into
not
what
something that
I
you
just
had to-
realized. The quantum mechanics thing, where you change one atom and its partner, wherever the hell it is, could be in New Jersey or California or past Uranus, and it changes at the same time. I mean, quantum mechanics is amazing, and if that's not proof that we're living in the Matrix.
Into a little bit more detail on your quantum mechanics.
The double slit experiment. You're familiar with that, of course, being
hello.
being a scientist. You are a
You can write
scientist.
your own jokes with that, by the way.
Thank you.
But,
Yes,
I'm very
that's.
familiar with
Thank you. It's a very. Yeah, you're right. I hadn't thought about that. But the double slit experiment, whether or not it's being monitored, changes the behavior of the electrons or the photons or whatever. Quantum entanglement. Thank you, E1 Guru. These people know. And you were talking about on your podcast, which is called Chewing
the fat.
the Fat. Okay, so there's no E. It's not Chewing the Fate.
Fat.
I had it down here as Chewing the Fate, and I apologize. Chewing the Fat. You were talking about not transmutant, teleportation.
Teleportation. Yeah.
Transmutation. But
No, I was not talking about transmutation.
it was teleportation, and the theory is that it's going to be around before when?
Yeah, they're saying by 2060. I think, right? Yeah, that's what I'll find the story that I was reading from, but they were saying 2060 for teleportation, and it's just about moving data. That's all it is. Okay, all right. So,
But is it just about moving data?
Well, quantum computing and quantum internet will handle the massive data requirements, Brad. You know that. That's needed for
how many times just
teleportation.
today have I said that very same thing?
Quantum computers already, are being developed. We were talking about that just moments ago, and they're going to be able to process the enormous amounts of information required to teleport a person. That just
Of
goes
course.
almost without saying.
I completely agree with my comrade in wherever you are.
Now, we've already made huge strides in teleporting smaller objects like photons and atoms over long distances, and teleportation experiments with living organisms will likely come next. We haven't even done that yet. At least they haven't told us they've done that yet, right? I'm pretty sure
No,
that
because
they have.
Okay, back in the late 90s, Discover magazine, and I think it might still be out there, although it's gone like totally political too. It's wired. Anyway, Discover magazine, I remember seeing an ad in Discover magazine. It was like a 2-page ad, and I can't remember who it was for, but the premise of it was, imagine this vase in room A, and a split second later, it's in room B. Teleportation, basically. We've been able to achieve that, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Here's the thing.
I've never been able to find that stupid ad, though, since. And that was 30
It was
years
a lie,
ago.
and they took it away. But you can still imagine that. I don't know if you know that. You don't need the ad to let you go ahead and imagine that. You can imagine the candle in one room or the flower vase
Are
in one
you
room.
saying that they were using
seconds
wordplay
later. Just
simply
saying.
to confuse the issue?
But my point is that, okay, so everyone thinks that it's going to be Star Trek-ish and, like a split second later, it's in the next room. It might not be, right? With when you break down a human body with all of our intricacies, it may take, would you still be okay with it if I could go from Dallas to London in 10 minutes or 15 minutes, or
Right.
would it be worth it? Obviously, your first answer is yeah. But if I show up in London and my arm is coming out of my ass, I don't want that.
Although I think you could probably come up with some amusing ways to use an arm coming out of one's ass.
I don't want it. All right, I don't want my leg coming out of my ear. I want to be put back together the same way I was taken apart.
I've always thought that a small arm with a hand on it coming right out of your forehead would be like
a good look.
Would be the hand. No pun intended. It would be the handiest thing in the world, because imagine you could
Would
use
it, though?
Yes, because you could keep 2 hands on the wheel and hold your cell phone with that third hand.
With just a little hand coming out of your hand.
With just a little hand.
Going to hold your cell phone.
Well, yeah. It would have to be long enough so it reaches over.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a little hand.
Okay, so you put a little magnet on your little hand, and it holds the cell phone more securely. But it would be very handy to do. It could hold a beer.
No, it would not.
It could hold a beer.
It's here. You're pouring it in.
Well, it's jointed, so it's got an
silly.
elbow on it, and it's not just like sticking straight out like a unicorn horn.
If I had a third hand, I could have bent down and just picked up that phone with my third hand. But,
right? You would never have had to.
Wouldn't need these 2 hands.
You still would actually.
Third hand out of your head.
But you bring up an interesting point about the whole teleportation thing.
I know, that's why I brought it up. I don't know why.
We because this is live programming. We have the opportunity right now to talk to Brandon Squish.
For real?
For real, over in North Carolina.
Another human?
Talking to another human being. Hang on a second.
And Brandon is going to tell us what?
Brandon, you're live on the air, so just be aware of that and try not to make too much colorful language. Now, Brandon Squish is a listener of the Daily Mojo, and he is in the North Carolina area. He gave us a report on the happenings in North Carolina after the floods.
Hey.
We haven't talked to him since the fires, but we wanted to find out how things are going over there and if y'all are recovering.
We did? Okay.
You don't remember that?
I do. I guess we're moving on from teleportation. So
well, for
Brandon,
the moment, because Brandon, we just had to, because it is live.
I'm sorry, I just got whiplash.
It's all right. It's okay. Everything's going to be fine. Brandon, are you there?
I don't have my neck brace up here.
All right. So Brandon is there. So I just real quickly, because he only has a couple of minutes, I wanted to get an update on what's happening.
His schedule.
Over.
He's
a very important individual. I mean, he's got an X account and everything. So first of all, everything good with you, Brandon? Squish?
Yeah, everything here's at the homestead is good.
All right, so talk to us about.
The man's in a hurry. Why are we small talking? What do we?
I just feel like I have to be polite. All right, so talk to us about how things have been going with the fires and all of that. How was the recovery effort? Because y'all are getting walloped.
Yeah, so luckily the fires have not been near us. I think the nearest one was probably like 45 minutes, an hour away. That ended up happening. So we got lucky there, not near us.
Both of them are pretty small too.
And then the biggest thing that happened, and I think I texted this to you before too, was like after Trump came, after the inauguration, that Friday he came.
Yeah.
That next Saturday, Army Corps of Engineers were here. Tons of dump trucks have been just around since. Tons of excavators, even those ones that have like 10 tires and go into swamp areas and things like that.
I love those.
Yeah, they're so cool. and I mean, just activity going on all over the place, cleaning out waterways, cleaning out debris. It's really interesting because now instead of just driving through areas and having massive piles of debris and you can't see anything, now they're gone and now you can see more destruction. It's pretty crazy to see.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, do you know anybody who had their home, like the land that it was built on, just wiped away?
Not the land personally. There is a spot behind us, not too far from here, near the fire station, which is a couple miles away, where one of the haulers, it washed away and took out 13 members of family, including one of the firefighters who went to go save his relatives.
Wow. And
Yeah,
Are you buying that property now, or
I don't think. See, that's I don't
you
know.
can't hear me?
I don't think he can
He can't
hear
hear
you.
me.
He can't.
that's
I can't hear Jeffy, no.
I think he
already
can hear you
discovered
like
that.
7 seconds later. So you just sit there and be quiet. Brandon and I have a next conversation.
It's a really weird, awkward pause when you wait to listen to him to talk and I can't hear him. So I'm like waiting for a question.
We like awkward. But so the what'd you say? It was a family of 13.
Yeah, I think it was something like 20 members lived there and 13 were washed away and it ended up being 3 consecutive mudslides in the same area. And so the area where it was, this little valley that had homes on it, is just now like 100-foot wide gap or 100-yard wide gap. It's like a football field wide. It's just gone.
And what do people do if you had a house there? Where do you rebuild your house if there is no place, if there's no land to build your house?
Exactly. I don't think you can rebuild there without significant, engineering efforts, at least, because these areas where you used to have like mountain slope, the land here is a lot of clay mixed with like rock, right? So the clay is very dense and stuff. And what it looked like, what happened was really up high on the mountainside, you can see where it just got behind the clay and found a rock that was like underneath and just went on top of like this large rock and washed all the land on top of it away. So it's very interesting, like when you see the landscape now, that's completely changed, and it's just wild.
And again, if people have had homes in there, how do you rebuild the land that you owned does no longer exists? How do you even what do you even do? I don't know the answer to that. So if you
great.
Yeah, that's about all you can do. So if you end up knowing any or meeting anybody, we'd love to and have their story. We'd love to hear about that. But so the fires aren't near you. You're good there. And we've had some questions as to whether or not the fires were started by something weird. You've seen
They were not. They were not.
Jeffy says
me
it
on
was.
X, you know.
Okay, what did you say about it?
No, I'll tell you.
So I've been down this conspiracy rabbit hole since the early aughts, and watching weird radar anomalies happen and seeing the chemtrail spraying. So I've been on this a long time. So when you showed that video, was it Thursday? I think it was.
Yeah.
I was right there with her on that. I mean, there's so many.
So you think there's something to it?
Oh yeah, yeah. For sure.
I don't think Jeff knows about these radar anomalies. And
I am aware of
are you aware of them? He says he's aware of them, Brandon. I'll just be the middleman. Jeff, are you aware of them?
I am aware of them. Thank
Brandon,
you.
he says he's aware of them, so we're good.
Okay.
All right. So appreciate the update and letting us know. And again, I don't. It's just y'all have been hit with so much stuff over there. And do you still need anything? Is there if somebody wants to help?
Yeah, I believe Mercury One and Samaritan's Purse are still down here doing a lot of work.
All right.
Yes, they
so
are.
if you feel compelled to donate or help people, I would start with them.
Okay, cool.
Those are the two that I do know that are still down here. I don't know of any other ones off the top of my head though.
All right. So Samaritan's Purse and Mercury One. All right, cool. We're watching. I don't know if Brandon, if you can see it or not. We're just still looking at some of this video from the flood damage.
The footage
is
just incredible.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
I had to go out yesterday to Swananoa, and I took some photos of some of the stuff there that we can see now, and I'll shoot them over to you.
Yeah, please do.
So you can see some of it. And one of the craziest things I saw was there's a creek here, Cane Creek, that's not too big. It's a few feet wide, but like a foot or two deep usually.
Yep.
That got just it took over farm fields that are like 200 yards wide. It became a gigantic lake almost. And now that the engineers are here and they're cleaning out the stuff, there's a spot I found. There's 3 or 4 cars that were pulled out of a farm field. And I was able to get a picture of that. I got to show you what those look like.
Floods
crazy.
are scary. Floods are scary. When there's water where water isn't supposed to be, it's freaky. It messes with your brain. They are really strange. All right, pal.
And, do you have one more second?
Yep.
You'll like this one. There was only one gentleman's club in town, and along this Swano River that got the road open there, and it's gone. So, I don't know if there's a GoFundMe for the ladies that work there, but we can find out.
That is.
I'm awful about that.
I was going to say we'll get some extra efforts going for that too, because we cannot be long without the strip club.
No. There's men working up there to try to get this community back up and
It
running.
used to be on the way to Lowe's. You drive past it every time, and then they opened the road, and I wanted to go see the damage around the area. The Aldi's near it is being rebuilt, but the Gentleman's Club is gone.
Well, in Vegas, the Toby sent us a picture, and it was one of the strip clubs out there. It says, Doge forced us to get rid of the 3 ugly chicks. So now they have all the beautiful ones. Yeah. All right, Squish, Brandon, thank you for calling. Appreciate it, and keep an eye on the strip club for us.
Will do. I'll let you know if it gets rebuilt.
Please do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there he is. I guess that music kicks right back in, doesn't it?
So is Brandon gone now?
He's gone now, so you and I can talk again.
Teleportation, as we imagine it today, it probably won't become a reality in the traditional sense. Instead, it'll involve, splitting a person into data and reassembling them with advanced 3D bioprinting. But it does raise some important questions. Anyway, back to you, Brad.
That's why Dr. McCoy hated getting in the transporter. He did not like it because it scrambles the atoms. And what I was going to suggest in the teleportation realm is let's say you just ate lunch Let's say you just went to Cheeseburger Charlie's or Fuddruckers, and you just ate, an incredible meal of hamburger and fries and a milkshake.
Which actually sounds really good.
It does, right?
Yeah.
It actually does. So you've got all that in the contents of your stomach, and when you get teleported, does all of that get teleported with you?
Well, I think we're going to have to go back, revisit the days of, remember when we couldn't go swimming 30 minutes after you've eaten? So now you can't teleport 30 minutes after you've eaten. That's what's going to happen. Have you eaten in the last 12 hours? Oh, it'll be like surgery. It'll be like surgery. It'll be 12 hours, 12 to 18 hours. Have you eaten in the last 12 hours? Yeah, we can't get it.
See, now that's real world application of teleportation.
Yeah, that's actually probably what will happen, at least in the very beginning, until they get it right. And that's what I'm saying. Until they get it right,
it ain't happening.
You're going to see Uncle Will with the hand coming out of his forehead. And Will's going to go, yeah, well, you just get used to it.
Which, again, may or may not be a bad thing. It actually could. It's
a terrible thing.
It is all in how you look at it.
You'll still tell Uncle Will, oh, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We still love you. Don't worry about it, Will. But the whole time when Will's not around, you're like, holy crap. He's got that arm come out of his head.
Let's just say that you had, prior to going to the teleportation station, had maybe eaten your Cheetosard.
I love this story. At some point, you've made too much money, really. I mean, this is part of an issue that I have with this. It's actually funny to me, but this company forgot that they had this Cheetosard, and they. What are you talking about?
What?
It's a 3-inch long flaming hot Cheeto
that's shaped like a Charizard,
like a Pokemon. I'm supposed to. It's the Pokemon. It's not Pokemon. I informed of that yesterday, by the way.
Boomer.
But, right, I know. And so Charizard looks like the Cheetosard, or the Cheetosard looks like the Charizard, which is the Pokemon card. And so this company had the flaming hot Cheeto for several years, and they released a video that they found it in a safe. We forgot we even had it. And so they decided to put it up for auction. Oh, let's see. The Cheetosard is going viral again online. Now's the time to sell it. And they auctioned it off. 60 people bid on this thing. 60 people were bidding on this thing. I don't know if they were, friends. If there might have been 30 people, and each person had a friend of theirs bidding on it. However, whatever you wanted. How there were 60 people reportedly.
You're implying that they were cheating.
Correct.
Okay.
And so it ended up that the winning bid for Cheetosard, and that got you the glass case and the Pokemon card and the Cheetosard. So you got the whole thing. It wasn't just like the one thing. That would just be wrong. I mean,
you should get a reach around at this price.
That'd be highway robbery.
Yeah.
But it ended up going for $72,000. $72,000. And wait, that's not all. With the buyer's premium, it came to almost $87,000, well, almost $88,000.
Good grief. I mean, how much did do we know how much the shop originally paid for this thing?
39 cents.
So it was it one of
idea.
I wonder if it was one of them working at the shop or did somebody come in and sell it to them?
They bought it originally for like a couple $100, $250, something like that.
Wow. And it was just stuck in their safe.
They said they had it in their safe, yeah.
Yeah, what it was stuck
we're not selling it until it
in
goes
the
viral.
Display case right at the front of the store with a $1.50 on it that I'm not buying a damn Cheeto that looks. Yeah, no, and wow, did they hit? That's why you've got to love America and the interweb.
There's no doubt about that.
Because that wouldn't have been possible. What, 20 years ago? 30 years ago.
Well, yeah.
They would have still had that damn thing sitting
you're
in the showcase.
I mean, you're not getting $72,000
No,
for it.
you're not
Right?
getting
that's
$30.
just silly.
You're not
That's
getting
just silly.
anything.
Well, they paid for it. I think they said 2018 or something like that. $250 back then. That was probably a fair price.
Space
Because
hippie on
you were
vacay. No teleportation for me. My atoms are where they are and don't need scrambling.
Yeah, I mean, you say that now, but if it were available, you may change your tune.
Well, and this is what, because she's right. She says, besides, you technically die and become a clone of yourself every time you teleport. Nope, not interested.
I don't know that that's
if they figure
true.
out a way to use wormholes to teleport, then maybe. But scrambling, I mean, hell, they can't even get foot surgery right now. I mean, my right foot is still effed up because of that damn doctor who effed it all up when he went, and cut my bone too short. I mean, not that.
I didn't say a word. Not one word did I say. Not.
Fortunately, it was several inches too long, and it could afford to be. But no, if they can't even do that surgery right, I sure as hell. And Dark Magneto says, I miss Omni Magazine. Maybe it was Omni Magazine.
Maybe it was. Maybe that's why you can't find the ad
Maybe
because you're
that's why
looking
I
at the
can't
wrong
find-
stupid magazine.
It was Omni
And while
Magazine.
you're looking for that, just let me say that in South Carolina, they have arrested a woman who for starting the wildfire near the Myrtle Beach area that burned over 2,000 acres. And so I guess her name was Climate Change because that's not climate change. So
Ouch.
now the other day there was like 170 little, they're small fires, and it's only burning 1,000 acres. They're small fires, but there was a huge amount of them. I mean, you think of 170 fires across the state just raging. That's a tough day for the firefighters. Yeah, that's a lot.
Hang on, I know there's a picture of her right there. Hang on, I've got this for you. I've got your back. There it is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. That's her, baby. And
She's,
so,
she's not ugly.
no, she just starts fires.
That's the worst kind because you don't know. I mean,
That's
you
not
look
the
at.
kind of fire I'm talking about.
All
Okay,
right,
here
thank
we
you
go.
very much. What? Does she look like a firebug to you? I mean, I guess she could be, but
Don't know what. Listen, I understand the process of being a firebug because I love fires. But truly, I do love fires.
I may have tried to set our cabin on fire when I was in
They're
first
easy.
grade.
If you get caught up in the moment, which I'm sure she did, because it talked about how the neighbors had seen her intentionally start a fire in the backyard fire pit near the tree line, and she didn't have the proper equipment to put the fire out. So was it on purpose? I mean, they believe that it was, but if something happens and it gets out of hand, and it can get out of hand fast, you can quote me on that, by the way, and it can get out of hand fast, and the next thing you know, 1,000 acres are burning.
She just doesn't look like a firebug.
Thank you, God.
Well, I'm just saying that she doesn't. Hang on, I found it. I did find a different advertisement. This is in 2014. Americans see teleportation and lab-grown organs in the future. This is 11 years ago. We already
we do have lab-grown.
Yes, thank you.
We have lab-grown organs.
So,
we have that.
Just saying.
But the stuff that I was reading, they're still saying 2060. Now, most things,
That's only
as of
30
late,
years away.
as of late, that have been projected 30 to 40 years out, time is speeding up thanks to AI and quantum mechanics in history and quantum physics. And so things are speeding up. So anything that they say will be here in 10 years, it's probably already here. I mean, it's close to being here.
Wait, I mean, time isn't really speeding up.
Oh, yeah, it's speeding up.
It just feels that way.
That's
it's
not what
really speeding up, is it? I mean, are we just
Well, it is going to
speaking
speed up. It
metaphorically?
is going to speed up tonight because it's time change weekend.
Son of a...
For those of the people listening live, 2 a.m. Tomorrow, you need to
Can we
set
not
those clocks ahead.
get that changed?
We can't. You heard President Trump just the other day comment on it.
Just pissed
he was
me
saying,
off.
He was saying that was Trump said it's a 50-50 thing, and I'm not worried about it now. It's never going to change. I got other things to worry about. Pretty much what he said.
He's not my president. I hate that guy.
I'm sick of winning.
I'm tired. If he can't change daylight saving
him
time,
to take care of it, because he wants to have. He likes to. He said in the clip that you think people want daylight earlier, but it's not the case.
they do. He's looking at the wrong reports. Speaking of reports, how do I do it? I don't know, but I do.
I know.
This is not. Nah.
Come on now.
Uh-uh.
I mean, it's so sad to think that Gene Hackman was wandering around his house for days
With his wife dead in the bathroom.
Alzheimering himself, all Alzheimered up, and the wife is laying in the other room dead next to the heater,
And
with the dog that just got out of surgery in the crate. And I will say this: I read a story today. Hold on, just for a second. I want to back up to this, Gene, before we get into the reports about Gene and Betty. I read a report today that talked about the death of the German Shepherd. I thought that the dog that died was the other dog that they had, and the German Shepherds were still alive. So I got to go back and see if I read that wrong. But I'm sick. I'm going to be pissed because I was busy mourning the German Shepherd, and now I have to mourn the other dog.
And it was not. It was. It had a weird name too. The kind of a dog that it was.
It was. But the latest report talked about the death of the German Shepherd. So which is it? Damn it! Which dog do I have to mourn?
Wow. Here's the shocking reason behind the Hackman dog's death.
No.
Wait a minute, and no one up to this point had said word one about Gene Hackman having Alzheimer's.
Yeah, everybody said he was in good health,
right?
Was fine, and then out of the blue, he's suffering from Alzheimer's and he has no idea what he's doing. Okay,
I mean that makes it awfully simple.
The original comment from the kids, we can go back and find the stories. The original comment from the daughter, I think it was, might have been the daughter, talked about they loved each other, and he was as good a health as he could be in at 95.
Right,
he was exercising and doing yoga or whatever the hell she was dragging him to do. Right, and then it's like, well, he's got a pacemaker. It didn't check in. He's had heart disease. He's had all these surgeries. Oh yeah, and Alzheimer's. And he's been wandering around not knowing where he is. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It does. I will say, Brad, now that I'm talking about it out loud with you instead of just reading the stories, it makes me question the validity of the reporting.
Thank you. There's something wrong. Hantavirus. And then,
how many people are watching? Oh my gosh! They have footage of her shopping and answering emails. Well, they don't have footage of her answering emails, but they know that she answered emails. But they have footage of her in town shopping. And how many people is that normal if you're walking around with a
sure. Well, and the pacemaker, so it can record. Does it not tell anybody? I mean, is it not connected to the Internet of Things? And maybe they're not. I don't know.
It is connected to the Internet of Things, but I think the way the one works that we have in this household is that they have to. Don't look at me.
I
Not mine. I don't have one.
I didn't realize that
We've
Amber
covered
was
this
in that
before.
bad a shape already.
Well, yeah,
Figured she had a couple of good years left.
well,
Maybe not.
one would figure that, wouldn't they? Anyway, they have to.
You're not getting
log
full
in
price
and
for
check-
her.
They
Just
have
so
to
you know.
log in and check it.
Oh. But
So I don't know. They don't have these doctors' offices don't have 800 computer screens up with Bill and Miller. There goes
Look at-
Bill.
Hackman. Hackman's down. Hackman is down, I repeat.
Yeah, I don't have that.
But you'd think somebody would. I mean, what's the point
Well-
of having the damn thing like record anything?
And if I don't have the kids, I mean, he was wandering around the house crazy
Right.
for 10, 11 days. Nobody called. Nobody thought, I haven't heard from Dad. Haven't heard from Betty.
Right. And he's got Alzheimer's, and you know he's got Alzheimer's, and you haven't heard from him,
Right.
and you're not. There's something ain't right here.
Right.
I think Bob Saget is somehow involved in this.
Oh, here we go. You got to look.
I'm telling you,
Saget.
Saget is involved in this somehow. I'm not even. I don't know how. I just know. Would you look at the time? I cannot believe it's that time already.
Is it really?
It is.
Is it really
Look at that.
time
We're,
to end this
we're
stupid thing?
after. God, couldn't come
Wow.
soon enough. I mean, I hate
Wow.
parting as such. You got a joke?
Yeah. Of course, we have a joke of the day. Of course, I almost brought two today, but I'm just going to leave you with one. That's just the kind of guy I am.
Read the damn
This was-
thing.
This was some. You need to calm down. Okay. This was submitted from Marcus to chewingthefat@theblaze.com. If you can want to submit a joke of the day or submit to be a contestant on What's the Lie, or just leave your comments, you can do that by emailing chewingthefat@theblaze.com. This one is submitted from Marcus, as I said. The young lady next door sunbathes topless on her pool deck. My wife is at odds with her. My wife says that her exposure is completely improper. Our neighbor says that she is within her rights on her property. Me? I'm on the fence.
At real Brad Staggs. He never
wait
checks
a
his
second.
email, but you can try Brad
Hold
at
on a minute.
thedailymojo.com. Also, download the Daily
Hold
Mojo
on.
app. It's on the
Oh,
Apple
my-
App
my
Store right
mouse
now,
doesn't
just
work.
waiting for your tug. As long as you
Oh,
guys
hell.
don't need anything
It's
else,
done.
like a foot rub or maybe a neck
We're
massage,
outta here.
great! Then I'm out of here. Watch the Daily Mojo Monday morning at 7 and Chewing the Fat drops again Monday afternoon. Until then, I'm not Stu, saying if it's pasta you want, you gotta boil some noodles. Hasta la vista, baby!